All right, 7 o'clock, we will start our meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag behind you to the left.
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Yes.
Mr. Dabrowski.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mrs. O'Brady. Here. Mr. Giovanni.
Here.
Mr. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Ottawa.
Here.
Mr. Galena.
Here. I don't think we have any changes to the agenda.
We don't have changes to the agenda. I would draw the board's attention to an updated treasurer's report that is found at response though.
Then we're looking for a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. I'll make a motion. Motion by Roger, second by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Next, I'd be looking for approval of the minutes from the January 16th Board of Education meeting. Motion by Dan, and a second by Ken. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. Abstentions? Roger? So motion passes. And next, correspondence,
None? Audience comments?
audience comments.
Sandy, you got anything to say? Not yet? Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody online? Any comments out there? Okay.
We are to the best part of the board meeting. The very best part of the board meeting. Mr. Peters, would you introduce our students or our teams for student recognition tonight?
I'd love to. So thank you, everyone. And being flexible because the students we are recognizing tonight, we were going to recognize in January. And because we live in Illinois, Chicago area, we get our lovely weather. So tonight we have our kindergarten team presenting and our second grade team is also presenting tonight. But we'll start with kindergarten, our little ones with big hearts. So Ms. Harshaw, Ms. Saranzak, Ms. Smile, and Ms. Whitegro over there.
All right, well, I can go first. I have Marissa here today. So Marissa is just an all-around great student. She's fun, kind, respectful. She's a great listener. She's currently reading at her end of the year goal for reading. She is constantly wanting to do her best work. During phonics, I can always see her double checking her work, rereading her sentences, making sure she has every sound. And she's just also a really fun friend to everyone in class. I'm so proud of her.
And just so you know, we'll do a break after all the recognition for more pictures and that kind of thing. We know it's a special thing, so we want everybody to have fun. And you did this, so does every student. Maybe get a picture with that too. All right, thank you, Ms. Harshaw. Can I get claps for Marissa?
So I'm recognizing Liam Hydra. He is unfortunately not here, but he is kind and respectful to me and all of his classmates. He is quick to console others
He's hardworking, he has a strong sense of responsibility, work ethic, and perseverance. Things do not come easy for him, so he has to work extra hard. He will give up his free time to work with me, to read books, to earn extra reading steps, and he doesn't give up when the tasks are tough. And I'm blessed to have Liam in my class. So I actually have him here holding the hand of another friend who was scared to be in the room that day. And I had a new student start today, and Liam was his partner, and just to make sure that he learned the ropes and wasn't left behind.
Maybe give it to him. And I'm going to invite all of our speakers to use your teacher voices. Our audience is letting us know that it's a little bit hard to hear. So I think in the distance, I've heard you all bring it. So
I will go next. My student is Zayden, who is joining us virtually.
wave, Zayden.
Where are you? Zayden
There he is. Hi, sweetie.
Zayden is the kid that will, true meaning of perseverance when it comes to learning. We had a long talk today, Zayden and I, about how learning to read is super hard, and he never gives up. He goes with lots of interventions this year and never complains. He is the one kid that's like, yep, take me, I'm going, I want to learn. Every day, he's there with a smile on his face, never gives up, never doubts himself. So very proud of you, Zayden.
Not yet. We're not ready for you to go to stand yet. Why are you doing this? Look, Zayden!
Zayden, this one's yours. Yay.
Let's go back in time and act like Miss Sharon Zach never said anything. Because I think a very important person just came in. Am I right? Okay, so we're going to read you to make sure that Liam hears what Miss Sharon Zach has to say. Okay?
Okay.
Redo.
All right, redo it. So Liam is kind and respectful to me and his classmates. He is quick to console others and to help his peers. He is extremely compassionate. Liam is hardworking and has a strong sense of responsibility, work ethic, and perseverance. He will often take his free time to work with me or to read extra books so he can earn extra reading steps, and he does not give up when the tasks are tough. So Liam has to work a little bit harder than others, and he is definitely willing to do that. And I am blessed to have Liam in my class. And I did want to say I had a new student start today, and Liam was that student's partner to make sure that he learned the ropes and was never left behind. So Liam, thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, you're good. Cheers for Liam. Maya.
Unfortunately, the student I'm recognizing is not here today. My student is Akila Marie James. She is an absolute ray of sunshine. When she walks in the room, the whole room lights up. She is amazing. She spreads kindness wherever she goes. She's extremely respectful. She's extremely helpful to myself and every student in the classroom. She tries her best at every task. If I ask a question, her hand's the first one to go up, and she will not put down a hand until I let her speak. She needs to share her knowledge with everyone. She entered kindergarten knowing less than 5 letter names and sounds, and now she reads at our current goal. So this just proves how energetic and enthusiastic she is about learning, and she's just a lot of fun. There's actually a little picture of her here when Mr. Peters came to visit our classroom, and she was baking him a cake. So she enjoys inviting everyone to the party. So, and to smile.
I shared with my smile, and I don't know if there's let me have people able to be in attendance. Mr. Rowe over at Stanton will clip the video so we can send it directly to them so we make sure they see that recognition. So thanks. Smile. Absolutely. Kindergarten, are we all set? All done?
So now we have our second grade teachers tonight. This is the boss, Ms. Rachel and Ms. Fiddler.
Who's up? There's second grade. All right, Ms. Fiddler.
Hello. I am recognizing Kai today. I'm just so happy to have Kai with us. I wrote some notes down and just tell you the person right here what I think you. I think you embody what it means to be an all-star student. You are always following the rock rules. You are always every staff member and teacher, all your classmates and all your friends. You are helpful in here. Everybody you come into contact with. You are so responsible. I can always count on Kai to be the first one to know what's coming next, to do what he's supposed to do even before I tell the class what we're doing. He's on top of it. He is always doing his work the best he can. So I'm so proud of him. He shows expected behavior all the time. He goes above and beyond in his classwork. Kai is always showing safe behaviors. He is always where he's supposed to be. He loves spending time with Mr. Peters and other teachers, special lunches. He just has a great relationship with everyone in the school building. So I'm just so proud of him, and I'm just so proud to have him in my class. He also
Actually, let's just hear it. Okay. So, this is Max, and fun fact, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday! So when I always think about a kid to nominate for this, I always think of a kid who's always looking out for other people and being their cheerleader, and that is definitely Max this year. Max is happier for other people than he is himself when they achieve something. So when someone passes an iReady lesson, Max is congratulating them. If they got an answer right, Max is congratulating them. If they got picked for something that Max wanted to be picked for, he's happy for them. Not only that, but I call him my walking second step lesson because he's constantly reminding me and his classmates of all the skills that we're learning in class. He's told me to take a belly breath more times than I can count. He's usually right. I usually do take a belly breath. And he tells himself too. He's really good at using those and saying, it's okay to make mistakes. And whenever I come across a teacher who's having a rough day, I encourage them to have a conversation with Max because he could totally turn their day around very quickly. And he'll definitely teach you a thing or two about weather and sharks. You ever want to know? He's the expert. And just one more example is just the other week, we were still working on our bug unit, and Max was a little bit off on what we were supposed to be writing about, but it just took a little reminder and a little help for him to get back on the right track. I had to walk away to help someone else. By the time I walked back, perfect example of our paragraph written all by himself that he did. He used his his second step skills to give himself self-talk to not give up when it was hard. Like, it's not easy to go back and totally redo your writing that you just finished, but he did it great. And it was like, I wish I could have just printed it for the whole class to see that this is the exact example of what we were supposed to be doing. So good job, Max. Keep up the great work.
Tell the whole world. Welcome. 14? 8. Okay. I guessed wrong. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Grab it back.
God.
Grab my girl.
There she is. This is how we spend most of our day. Yep. So, Maddie, this is her first year at Lotus. So she joined me in October? Was it a little before that? Wasn't too far in. So she came in as this very quiet, shy little girl. And a little nervous, maybe a little bit about school, a little bit on her academics. And this young lady is one of the kindest, hardest working girls I have ever met. She has gone from reading at a 1G level all the way up to a 2B with no way of stopping. She is constantly reading, she is writing, she works so hard for me each and every day. And I call her my little emotional support child, because anytime I look like I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Maddie is right here giving me the biggest hug ever, and just knows how to make my entire day. She takes care of me, she takes care of her classmates, I know she takes care of her family. And so proud of all the hard work she's done, and just that she really embodies everything that an all-star student is. So congratulations, Ms. Maddie. All right, how about that for Lotus? Wow. Ms. Peters, are you here to share some recognition?
I got some great news, but let me tell you, these elementary school teachers are absolutely amazing.
Yes,
So that is hard
they
to
are.
top, but I will do my best.
They are.
I'd like to welcome up Bryn George. Bryn, come on up.
Yeah, Bren.
So Bryn is currently a sixth grader at Stanton, and this month we are recognizing students with just unbelievable attendance. Bryn is a sixth grader. Since kindergarten, she has only missed 4 days of school, and barely 4 days of school. It's just absolutely incredible. Bryn loves to learn. She loves to be at Stanton. She loved Lotus as well. Her teachers just will go on and on about the amazing hard work that she puts in. She's just an amazing student, and we're so happy to have her at Stanton. So thank you for just your brilliance and just for only being absent 4 times. She recently was sick, and the nurse had to actually call home and have her leave, and she did not want to go. So congratulations to Bryn.
Javari's joining us virtually.
Oh, okay, perfect. So Javari Franklin is a 5th grader currently at Stanton. He's being recognized because of his outstanding attendance. Javari has only missed 1 day of school last year, and this is a huge improvement from last year. Last year, he definitely had some bumps in the road, but this year he's only missed 1 day of school, and I am so excited. Thank you, Javari, for being here, for being present, and we're so excited for you. So congratulations to Javari. And Javari, I will bring your sign to Stanton tomorrow for you. All right, and my last student is an 8th grader, Jimmy Robeson. So Jimmy Robison is another one that's made just such huge strides with his attendance. He went from being tardy quite a bit in the past to not being tardy at all. He has completely wiped away all his tardies, and he's only been absent 2 times this year. So I'm incredibly just grateful for all the commitment he has put into coming to school. So congratulations to Jimmy Robison.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Peters. We have at least one birthday in the house, right? Yeah, so I think it's time for cupcakes and cookies. Is everybody? All right, let's take a quick break for cupcakes, for cookies. There's some waters in the cooler, and most importantly, pictures and family time.
I make a motion that the award winners get first in line.
I think we should. I think we should. That's the best part of a board meeting. Thank you for making time to be here to celebrate the kids. They're the reason we do what we do. So thanks to the staff for being here. Thanks to families for being here. No offense, that's the best part. So let's take a break and enjoy and celebrate our amazing District 114 students.
Thank you, everyone. Takes a village.
And everybody online, we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're all.
Right, back at it. Well, we lost half of our crowd, we're still in the recognition stage of the agenda. We'd like to recognize our very own distinctive superintendent for yet another award, which doesn't go unnoticed by this board. We really appreciate all your hard work, not only with our board, but everything you do for Lake County superintendent. So it's done a great job. We're not real good at it right now. So, well, that's all I'll say about that for now. More to come later. More to come later. Okay.
Thanks. Thanks for nothing.
All right, next on the agenda, item 8, consent agenda, representing the accounts payable, resolution, and treasurer's report. Accounts payable in the amount of $757,906.06. There's no discussion on that. I would like to have a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Got a motion by Roger and a second by Jen. Please pull the board.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brady? Yes. Ron Giovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes.
Mrs. Brattlebell?
Yes.
Mr. Galina?
Yes.
Mr. Dombrowski?
Yes. Passes.
All right. We are now ready. We're going to flip things around from the usual order because we have the hot topic of the 24-25 calendar. And because they're way smarter in the room to talk about it than me, I'm going to invite Ms. Amber Mistoid and Emily Raycheck up on behalf of the calendar committee to share our work.
Let me get your slides up, my friends. All right. There you go. Are you okay?
So tell us about how the calendar happens, my friends.
Well, we'll walk you through the process a little bit with these first couple slides, but we start with this committee. Everyone is invited to join, but these were the people who volunteered to share what their feelings were about the calendar. So as you can see, it's mostly some Lotus staff, but we do have some that are district-wide and from Stanton as well. These are the things that were really tight, meaning we don't have a lot of control over and can't change. So having 176 student contact days, having a maximum of 4 institute days, and what a contact day is considered the same. That has not changed. Having 180 work days, and this is something just for this year that Grant High School needs 8th graders to finish on or before May 30th.
They're doing a whole new system, so they just need our 8th graders to finish on or before May 30th for next year to put all those kids into their new system.
Mm-hmm. So you'll see that in our recommendation. And then these are just the holidays per school code that, again, we don't have control over, that we need off. I won't read them all out, but the ones in red are kind of the ones of note that we'll talk about. Veterans Day, Election Day, which is on November 5th this year, and then Juneteenth, which is just in the summer for the 12-month employees.
So getting to the fun stuff, this is our the calendars that we've created. So there's 6 total. I know it seems like a lot, but all of the ones with the number 1 in front of them is meaning that Veterans Day is off, so we will not be in session on Veterans Day. All of the 2s show you that Veterans Day is in session, so reflecting what it would look like if they were in session or out of session. And then from the A, August 19th would be the start date, to B, August 26th, and then C, August 15th. So you'll see that the thing that changes is the last day, depending on if Veterans Day is off or Veterans Day is on.
And
So
that's just because Veterans Day is one of those flex holidays where we can have it off. Or if we are in school, we just have to do something to honor Veterans Day in school. So that's why we have options of on and off.
And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. And so the reason why we went the Veterans Day route, what will we do if we are in session? Planning an in-school activity to honor veterans. So each building, Lotus and Stanton, will create a plan for this and how that would look. And then we thought election day. So we knew that November we have a lot of days off of school. We have November, we have Thanksgiving break, and then we have election day off, and then adding another holiday, which would be Veterans Day. Just a lot of days off that we kind of counted within November, and it's that quickly November's gone. So with 10-month support staff, Monday of conferences, they will work a normal work day. However, on Tuesday of conferences, they'll be off. So typically on Monday, we're here till 8 p.m. They would leave on their normal work day. And then Tuesday, we're usually here till about 12. And then they actually wouldn't be in attendance that day. And then with our 12-month staff support, so like our office, our custodians, it'll be an additional floating day that can be used during the summer months. So we're not so busy months during the school year.
Reason that in my code it remains on Monday, so we have to make all the days on. So that was the committee's brainstorm around how to creatively give people back that time. If the staff opted to be in session for Veterans Day, so that's the why behind that.
And so the staff input, we asked 2 questions. The first one was, which option do you prefer for Veterans Day? And then the options were to be in session with activities for learners to honor the day, school not in session so families can honor the day, or no preference. As you can see that in the blue, 53.6% stated that they wanted to be in session for Veterans Day with an activity.
And this is all the staff, not just the committee.
Yeah, 97. This is 97 teachers have responded to the survey. So it was 97 responses through Lotus and Stanton.
Arrow there because I just want to thank everybody, but that's a term that employees total 97 made input in the calendar. I think made the committee feel good that they cared about the work, they had information to share, and it's always good to know that you're getting a representative sample. You're making a decision. This is important as a calendar.
Yeah, especially because it's not just the calendar committee deciding what to do, it's a whole team, and that's Lotus, that's Stanton, that's every person from top to bottom. So that's why it was so nice seeing that number and all the work that we put into it, being able to share with everyone else and get their input. And so then we asked them the question of which calendar option you prefer. Don't mistake it what I did. I thought the blue was this one. It's not. It's a light blue. So that's representing calendar C2. I'll show you calendar C2, but as you can see, 44.3% chose calendar C2. And that one was Veterans Day on, so being in session for Veterans Day, and it was one of our earlier start dates of August 15th. And then our last day with no emergency will be May 30th, and last day possible June 5th.
Which then also allows for the 8th graders to be done without having to come up with some sort of plan for them.
Exactly, and then they'll actually be done roughly, I'm assuming, a little bit before the end date, so it'll be a perfect amount of time for Brant to get all of their information in, as well as making sure that Stanton can do everything that they need to do for those 8th graders. Questions, comments, concerns?
So ultimately, it is the responsibility of the board to approve the calendar. We can only bring forward a recommendation. The calendar committee creates the options. The staff gives input on the option. We take that data to make a recommendation. So the committee's recommendation on behalf of the majority of the staff giving input would be that the board approve calendar option C2.
Correct. Which is Veterans on.
Sooner,
I think all the kids are really used to starting to get one as the so
It will be a little bit of a change for us because that makes the first staff report day on a Thursday. Typically staff has reported on Thursday. Oh, sorry. What with the thing? So it'll be a little bit of a shift in our practice, which is, hey, I thought it was really interesting that that's what they want to do. So that would make our 2 staff institute days, that Thursday, Friday, August 15th, 16th. August 17th, then would be our first student contact day, which is comprised of teacher workday, morning, hours 8-3, staggered in the afternoon. The first student attendance day will be that Tuesday. Typically, our first student attendance day has been a whole day, just to get everybody into the routines. Plus, it's way less confusing for everybody, but we would then the first Wednesday or first early release of the year. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. I think it's going to be a cool way to start the year. I like from the adult perspective, having the 2 days back, everybody takes a breath for the weekend. That work day, meet and greet, just kind of feels like maybe slow things down a little bit for everybody when we start on the Monday, it's kind of frenetic from the second everybody walks in. So I think our hope is that it gives a smoother start for everybody. And I love the idea of having Veterans Day in session so that we can celebrate that as a system.
MLK Day?
Martin Luther King.
Is that another
Let's go
one?
back to that.
We're off.
I said we're
Yeah.
off that day, I believe.
The only ones listed are the ones that are kind of.
So we tend to, we flex Cafe or Pulaski, so this recommendation Pulaski Day, as if we, just like we did this year, if you, the first emergency day would be Pulaski and not the emergency day. Anytime we've done that, we've gotten overall positive feedback on having kind of an old school snow day. But it's not fun, it's just freezing, nobody can go outside. But that is what it is. So Pulaski Day, we flex, actually by school code, Lincoln's birthday is the official holiday, and we flex that to President's Day, as do most other school districts. Veterans Day has flexibility. Election Day is decided by the state on an annual basis, so I'm told this time they decided far enough in advance. Remember, recently we had to do calendar revisions, so we decided in July, let's take election day off. So that I anticipate will be a standing holiday, and then everything else we try to stay pretty true to form, true to state recommendation on.
I think you answered my question. I was thinking that for them to be finished on May 30th, that was with no emergency days, right? So where would we, if we needed an emergency day, where do we have that option?
We add 5 days, we're required to add 5 days into the calendar before the state will ever accept it. So the first one is always Pulaski Day, and we add 4 more. So I can't see an Amber, I'm sorry.
That's okay, go to the next one for Seaborn.
That's what I thought you
Oh.
answered it when you said
There you go.
Pulaski Day. And then,
The last day would be June 5th possible.
right.
But 8th graders would have, even if they have, unfortunately have that emergency, they whatever happens, they do have to be done by that time.
We have to have 8th graders prior to it. They want their system rolled over before summer school starts. The new 8th graders can be in the new system. Christy asked for that, and that's something that all the foundations, of course, will do.
I was just afraid we'd be cutting it really close if we didn't have a.
So if you go back to the previous one, options, so we did reference that, that was something that we did talk about as well. So if you look at A1 and A2, the last day would be possible with no emergency, June 4th, then June 11th. So then this one would be the
The
June
earliest
2nd.
one.
That's with off Veterans Day, and then even June 3rd, June 10th. So we are going with the May 30th to still be that cutoff time, for enough time for 8th graders to be able to roll over. 8th graders, they've worked so hard for so long, so let's give them an extra day.
Yeah, you're not gonna get much out of them.
Typically, we do
I was just
our
saying.
operators promotion ceremony before the last day.
Done usually by November, I think.
The other thing for the board's attention is to remain committed to whatever we should promote. Again, want to applaud the staff and the needs that so that we don't have to use those emergency days tagged on to the end. Next year will be our year to submit the plan for remote learning. Every other year, remote learning. So this year, for next year by July 1, we have to submit for approval that plan, so we'll be bringing it forward on June agenda. One recommendation that we should be surprised to see is given how kind of visually taxing it is to be able to learn this the hard way, right? On your computer all day long or bouncing back and forth for kids and for the staff. We're gonna be taking the early release schedule, so our Wednesday schedule will be if we use an emergency day, and we do it remote, we'll follow the early release schedule. It still is a contact day, we still meet all the state requirements, it's just a bit kinder, gentler way to use remote learning. So our intent is always to get out at the last day as indicated without using emergency days. Again, we plan for it, like you said, summer camp, summer clinic start, so. Honestly, it depends when Grant's gym's open. We always partner with Grant. Somewhere in that last, in that. Right. We honestly haven't got that far. Yeah.
It's good. Hard work, hey dog.
Great job.
A lot of people put a
I
lot of
was
work
gonna
into
say,
it.
it was
So
not
it's
just.
amazing people that are on the committee as well as the amazing staff that contributed, so.
And the slides are pretty slick.
They are pretty
Those
slick.
are, yeah.
You should see Matt's.
So I always bring forward like blank white slides and Amber looks at them and it's like, yeah, so.
I love text, if you need help, I got you.
We're making the slides far richer than mine would have been.
Very good.
So the recommendation would be that the board take forward and approve calendar option C2 for the 24-25 school.
No. I didn't see option D on there for year-round school.
No.
All right. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Calendar on C2.
Whoa.
Motions.
I'll second Roger.
Roger, second by Danny, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion passes.
Thank you. Thanks to the committee for all your work.
Yes.
And thanks to you guys for presenting. That's great. All right. With that, we're going to move on to the personnel report. You have it here for your consideration. We have a hire, we have 2 resignations. Of note with the backup documentation behind them, we have our current status for 23-24. Starting when in March, we'll give you the tentative staffing plan for next year. When we do that, we'll list unfilled positions for 24-25. But at this point, I'd be looking for board approval of the personnel report as presented.
Represents 1 hire and 2 resignations.
Correct.
Motion by Jen, and second by Joe. Please pull forward.
Mrs. O'Grady? Yes. Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes.
Ms. Brattle?
Yes.
Mr. Galina?
Yes.
Mr. Dabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes. Motion passes.
Can I ask a question about the bus drivers? If we have 2 bus driver positions to be filled, and that leaves 2 routes, who's covering those routes?
They're covered. For right now, we're continuing to look to hire. They're right now purchase routes, which is what you see reflected in the accounts payable, but we're actively seeking drivers, and that kind of leads to one of the upcoming agenda items.
Yes, okay.
We are at finance and facilities updates. Mary, what do you want to tell us today?
Okay, the committee has not met yet, but we have just received the pretty much finalized drawings of the vestibules. And we should have those figures soon, definitely before the next board meeting. Speaking of calendars, they have assured us that we should be done by the August 15th start date. So, but that's where we're at right now. We are going to be looking to see, finalize those plans. We made a few tweaks within the last couple of weeks, good ones, and just things that you don't quite think of at the time. So we're going to be looking at those we can call it the slates. As far as anybody else on the facilities?
You guys got the drawing, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week.
So you'll see transportation updates, Melissa, you were asking, we have, two of the purchase routes from Safeway now, that's taking over bus 4. We did add another student, actually, as of today, 2 more students from Durham route, which helps us in the splitting that bill with Durham, that's for a special ed route, very much towards stuff. We had we had those students drop off that route is still more. So things change pretty much daily. So by the time this report gets here, it could be changed again. So it's just found out about that additional student yesterday, actually today, I think it was. So that's the transportation update. And also, did you want to talk about the?
Sure. So at the last meeting, this board approved a 5-year agreement to continue leasing our buses. Yes. Actually, we increased it from 3-year proposal to 5. So knowing that, then that helped us answer a bunch of questions on how to move forward. So we started thinking strategically about how to now work within the model of keeping the fleet, keeping our drivers, knowing that hiring drivers has been a challenge specifically related to the CDL training. And how to get that done. So in digging into it, we learned a few things. So let me back up and talk you kind of through this memo. So we know now that we want to make sure we recruit, train, and retain our drivers, since we're going to be holding those buses ourselves, and make sure that those drivers are safe and student-friendly on the routes, and then try at the same time to reduce the need for purchase service routes. As you see in the accounts payable, that is without question our largest expenditure are going to be on people in our district is our outplaced transportation needs. So we've been working for about the last 4 weeks to figure out a strategic plan to deal with both of those targets. So the first would be, how can we develop our own internal plan to get CDL certification for drivers so that we're not trying to shop that out. We're not having to spend money externally on it, and we can build the capacity of our own drivers, and it's going to go in somebody's pocket. We would like for it to go to our staff to do that training. So Mary did a ton of research and found out really a train your trainer program isn't that hard to pull off as long as you figure out what the training materials are and you set a protocol for it. So laid out for you here would be CDL training, which requires up to 15 hours of content process training, which thanks to Mary, we've gotten that state-approved documentation for no cost, whereas some other districts are paying up to $5,000 to have software for that. Way to go, Mary Taylor. And then completion of supervised practice driving, which obviously makes sense, for up to 15 hours as well, for us to be able to certify and say someone has the CDL that allows them to drive one of our buses. All that can be done internally. And in fact, we got state, I'll say, guidance that when you have your own fleet, it is best practice to have your own CDL trainer internally. So this is a place where we can be even more in compliance and kind of grow our own and deal with the issue internally while we're compensating our staff to do so. So we're bringing forward a proposal for a trainer pay model. We did run this through the AFL. Thanks, Maureen, for your quick turnaround on that. So it would basically be an option to any of our current CDL approved drivers to become trainers. When they do that, we would train them up on all the materials they would use so they get practice in that. I said it here, we've got the materials, which is awesome. That's a $5,000 savings off the bat. And then when our drivers take on that role of being a CDL trainer, we would give them an additional $10 on their hourly rate when they're serving in that trainer role, because it is a responsibility above and beyond the job. So it would be for both the side-by-side kind of content training and also the on the road in the vehicle training.
We feel like that's fair. We feel like it's a great way to show our drivers, here's another way to kind of grow yourself in our system. It would be open to all drivers, and we opted not to set it as a stipend because you just don't ever know how many people. So it made more sense to us than rather than saying it's a flat rate, or you're the trainer so you get a stipend for this, but rather every time you do it, this is the rate that you're paid. And honestly, some people, like a driver who's experienced and has let their CDL lapse, is probably going to take less time to train than someone who's never had one. So it allows us to then individualize that training as well, compensate fairly for it, and recruit and hopefully retain our own drivers internally. So that would be kind of part one of the plan. And for that part, I would be asking for board approval simply because it involves salaries and finances. The second idea that we'd like to explore is expanding our van fleet. So thanks, Mary, we did kind of a breakdown of pricing here. So obviously a vehicle isn't cheap to purchase and you start losing money on it as soon as you buy it, right? But if we know the approximate cost of a van is, let's say, $30,000, and the salary and benefits driver for a van driver for next school year would be just under $24,000. You put that together, and you're right around, what, 54? The annual cost of a single purchase route is up to $77,000 for each route. So even in the purchase year of the vehicle, we're already saving money over the cost of a purchase route. This is all reimbursable. Am I correct on that? Because it's all going through the transportation fund, including the CDL program. So year one cost is obviously higher, but then subsequent years are the 3% increase in salary. And obviously you have to count the depreciation of the vehicle, but every single year of purchase route is up to $77,000. So every time we can bring this back and do it internally, first of all, we have quality control of the person who's driving that route, which is very important to all of us, but we're also saving money every time we do it. So that would be one recommendation that we explore. So I'm not really even looking for a not to exceed yet, or just this is what we're looking at in terms of, like Mary said, it's a constantly moving game of who's coming and what do we need. And honestly, where it's available, that hasn't even been easy to pull off. But that's something we'd like to explore and bring back to the board for consideration as we grow the program. And then the third strategic recommendation is a continuation of the coordination of services across our feeder districts. So anytime we're able to safely combine a route to reduce costs to us and to the other districts in the system, it's a good thing. It's good partnership process. And so we actively strive to do that whenever possible, and as recently as today. So, questions, thoughts? We're just trying to kind of plan even further ahead. Five.
How many?
8.
Drivers of the van?
No.
No.
It's far easier to hire a van driver.
Maybe you have to do an 8-hour course. 8 hours.
We purchased through Safeway, we purchased through Durham, we've purchased through Right Lift. All the biggest ticket items in your accounts payable, that's who you purchase those from. There could potentially be one that we would still need because we have students going to one site with really complex needs and they benefit from the highly trained driver that they have and aid on the route. But past that, I feel confident that you can do it right now. We just don't have enough vehicles. Right? And we are by law required to door-to-door transport students when they are out.
Was the plan be to have an additional van as kind of a backup to where the plan would have been for buses? What did you envision?
Typically, no, because we're almost always able to patchwork van routes together because the schools all have different starting times. So getting ahead of that, I wouldn't advise that. If we ended up in a hot spot for it, then maybe. We also could use the small buses that we have if we needed to. Those would require a CDL to step into the route that I'm
I'm less concerned about that, that it would merit having a vehicle sit there, at least as of right now. I don't know, Mary, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we'd probably be using it, from what we had to purchase. I can't imagine if we have.
He's saying as a spare.
As a spare, yes. Even if we did that when it wasn't being used, eventually we can use that in graduate students. It's not only our students, it's somebody else in a different district, we still have to show that presentation. So,
Some of the students right now that are outplaced in other schools, are we expecting that some of those students will be needing this special transportation, the van transportation, if they ever come back to our homeschool?
Well, our plan is that we have a couple of them in the works right now. To transition back.
And then, but they will then be covered.
So typically that is
By
part of
the
their
van.
transition plan because they, a typically occurring transition plan for a student is they come and spend partial day back at the homeschool, partial day at the therapeutic day. However, sometimes when kids are little, that becomes counterproductive because it's where am I, what am I doing?
But we still are projecting the numbers for the need to go up in the next year or so, number of kids who would need the van routes.
Plus, I would hope that they wouldn't. I would hope that they remain stable. That we, like, to put it kind of, that we bring back as many or more than we put out.
Can I add, Heather, that we have some of the special ed buses. So if some of these students came back to the district, they would be able to get on the special ed bus. We could kind of look the need for the van, unless they really needed that specific transportation. A lot of them can ride the bus, they just are taking a van because there's only one or two students, and that's why they're on the van as opposed to the bus.
Thanks, Emily. Good point.
Is there any difference in reimbursement rate from the state or home the world or just the world?
it just goes in a different line. It's the same, but what we have, we purchase specifically for it's a special ed, it was always a special ed, because it's split into regular ed, special ed, non-refundable, which ends up being the most. So when you purchase a product specific to special ed, it's always special ed, which is reimbursed kind of. But we do that too, we have one specific element for the bids. A lot of our other bid processes are next, what we do is we don't do special ed.
The reimbursement rates are not 100%.
No.
You said special ed is higher rate than.
Yeah, and when it averages out, it's probably still between 70 and 75.
So, even that reimbursement, that's why it's still beneficial for us to bring in.
Yes, exactly, because we're paying that portion.
For the good of the board, those are paid in arrears, so we pay them up front. You get the reimbursement in the next fiscal.
If the state has money.
Correct. And sometimes they split it up across separate different reimbursements.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the districts around us are having the same issue, trying to find routes, and having to buy routes, and then transporting one of our students out to the routes and the so. And that's the advantage of having the life. Some other district students as well.
Do you have to put lunch breaks in people bands or buses?
Not this time.
We do have one bus that's got.
So specifically what we would be asking for approval on is the concept of the CDL trainer. So we can get that out to our fleet and see if we can get that up and running, use to recruit drivers ASAP.
So we're looking for a motion to, the trainer rate $10 per hour. Motion by Ken, second by Jen, please pull forward.
Mr. Bryan?
Yes.
Mr.
Mrs. O'Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mrs. Padilla.
Yes.
Mr. Belina.
Yes.
Mr. Dombrowski.
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes. Okay, motion passes.
So we have final readings on policies. I didn't add first reads this time because with these, we close out all the action from the last legislative session. So when we start fresh again, if another press packet doesn't arrive, then we'll be back to status review of our current policies.
Yeah, we've done that.
I will keep you posted on that. Right, I just wanted to, I thought it would be cleaner if we just closed one before we started anything else. So all of these you have seen before. I wanted to bring to the board's attention and thank you to Pam. Policy 4140 is the first one in the second read stack. This is one that we talked about a while ago in a first read, and we put it on hold because it was regarding waiver of school fees, specifically for students who are eligible for free reduced lunch or students who are eligible to eat bento. We put a pin in it just because the thought was we would be having future conversations around things like a technology fee for the use of laptops, and potentially the fee structure, and we'll bring fees forward, probably at the March agenda as well, so we can get registration open for next year. Quite frankly, when you look at the data, our student devices are all covered in their comprehensive insurance policy. And in looking at the data over time, because we keep them under warranty, when damage is done, it's almost always covered. And even if we have to do replacements, we partner with families on that, and it's few and far between at this point. People, kids especially, have gotten better, they're not great, but better at carrying these things around. You'll notice that yours have protective cases on them for a reason. So I become much less concerned about this policy because there's not that many times that it would be a problem for us for students who are free reduced lunch eligible or mental eligible, not paid. And that's kind of what we wanted to look at. This is going to be to the detriment of the district. I don't believe that it will be, and quite frankly, I think we asked our taxpayers for enough that this isn't one to sweat. So I'm putting it through for final reading and final approval because it's A-okay, it's not going to do anything to us fiscally, and that was the concern that we had. So that was why that one was going back. It was a first read a while ago. So past that, these are all policies that we've had a chance to look at. They've been on public review. We talked about them last time. They don't require any changes in our practices, which is always something that I'm looking for in policy reviews that were already in compliance. So I would be looking for board consideration and approval for these policies to be final and catch us up to date with legislative action and recommendations.
I'll make a motion. Got a motion by Roger, a second by Joe. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion passes.
Okay, discussion items then. Future agenda preview or anything the board would like. At the March meeting, you can anticipate being here a little bit, so buckle in for that. We're going to have our winter benchmark data review. We'll have a tentative staffing plan to discuss. Have the fee structures proposal for the 24-25 school year as well. So those are the things coming in March with an aim for April having the final certified staffing review for board approval and then we go forward with support staff. Those are the things that I know we need to get done. Are there pieces or things that this board would like to see? Oh, in addition to facilities update on the secure vestibule project now. The regular sleeping bags.
Start. Text. React. All right.
Short and sweet.
Okay.
Anything else this board would like to hear about? If something comes up, would you please let me know? I'll be there. All right, Christy, FOIA.
Had two this month. One was the one I think we get quarterly records. Skyward, and then the one from the retired Illinois
representation of retired teachers at CTV and retired. And that's it. All right, before we go to other dates of notice, I want to celebrate one thing, one gigantic thing, is that we completed the 3-year compliance audit from the regional office. I think most people in this room had something to do with getting that done, but especially this one right here. Christy took that thing and carried it. There were over, 500 prompts and documents that had to be uploaded. She, along with Maddie, who isn't here tonight, they did Maddie's personnel file review in 45 minutes. With no recommendations. We have some tweaks to make, and some of them went along the way. But all in all, it was a great compliance review. Jim McKay was here and looked at our curricular resources, was in and out in about 90 minutes and said, curriculum, everything you have is an absolutely great place. So it was I won't even say it was a labor of love, it was just a labor. I'm thrilled that it's over. I'm thrilled that we don't have to do it again for 3 years, but I want to make sure that we publicly recognize Christy for getting that done. Michelle and Natalie contributed a bunch of data. Lynn and Allie did as well. Mary with the finances. It really took everybody, but Christy, you were the one that really carried it. So thank you to you. All right, so we got a Lake Division meeting coming up. Please let Christy know if you plan to attend. March 19th is the next board meeting. If we're going to change the time, we can decide that together. I do need a few minutes of your time in closed session tonight, just to bring you up to speed. The purpose of closed session would be confidential information matters and my evaluation. Oh,
I believe for a motion to go into closed session or discuss confidential employee matters and the superintendent evaluation.
I'll motion that.
Motion by Joe, second by Liz. All in favor? Aye. Okay, opposed, none, motion passes. And this is where we take everybody out.
sorry, we love you, but yeah. Have a great night. Take your cupcake.
Yep, thank you for all you do. Every day. Oh, man.
Next board meeting, but I can log in
Okay. So do you plan to log in virtually?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, thank you. Hold on.
Like it says, we're only required 3 times. I thought I stayed training
Oh, okay, requirement is 3 plus 2 days of practice. Yeah, but we have 5 days a week.
That's what I was thinking when I saw that. Minimum of 3, and I thought.